Well, it kind of came together with Joe coming up with a story, and we flew to Paris. Tom was shooting Mission Impossible, and Joe pitched it. He had a lookbook, he had a poster. He based it on the character, on Maverick's character, and he had a poster that said Top Gun Maverick. And Tom, who had been resistant, always wanted to make something that would really be great, but we never quite figured it out. And Joe did. Joe figured out a way to take Tom or Maverick on that character journey. And that's what the story's all about. Right after he finished pitching the story, Tom picks up the phone, calls the head of the studio and says, I'm making Top Gun.
Yeah, I mean, it all started with meeting with Jerry Bruckheimer, and I had read a script that they were working on and had some ideas and thoughts, and Jerry said, we got to go talk to Tom directly. So yeah, I jumped on a plane to Paris with Jerry and pitched it to Tom, and then we were, that was the beginning. We were off to the races.
That was the best money Paramount ever spent on that plane flight, let me tell you.
Yeah, with Tom, I had made a movie with him before, and it really is a partnership. Obviously, this is one of his most iconic roles. He knows Maverick better than anyone. He is Maverick. So it was always about what is the emotional journey of the character. Just like the first film, it really is a drama wrapped in a big action movie, and we wanted to do the same thing, but this is a new story. It's in a different phase of his life. There's a whole bunch of new characters that come in. There's a lot of pressure on him as a character. There's a lot he has to overcome, but he's still Maverick, He's still that same guy. He hasn't changed, and it's just fun to see where he's been, what he's doing, and what he's going to do in this film.
Well, Joe spent, I think, 15 months just designing the cameras inside the cockpit. How do you put those cameras in there? How do you get it past the Navy? How do you get it past the lawyers in the Navy? That takes forever. Just to figure it out was brilliant on Joe and his cinematographer, how they did it. And then you have to prepare the actors, and they had to be in for it because it was 3 months that they trained to be able to get an F-18. The first movie, we put our actors in the F-14, and they all threw up. We couldn't use one frame of footage. The only footage we used was Tom's. We got a few shots of Tom, and everybody else was their eyes rolling in the back of their head. They were just throwing up, and it was a disaster. So Tom put them in 4 different aircraft before they could actually turn the cameras on. And they worked really hard with them, and these kids got the hell beat out of them. They really did with the G-forces. And 1 G-force is your body weight. They were doing 7 times your body weight. It's like an elephant sitting on your chest, which we say in the movie. So, and they had to go through underwater training in case they had to eject, which is they dump them in the water, they blindfold them, they turn them upside down in a fuselage, they have to figure out how to get out. Tom did it again. He didn't have to, but he went and did it because the actors were doing it. He wanted to set a great example for everybody. So it was really, really hard. The actors had to take on an enormous task to make this movie. It wasn't just showing up and knowing your lines.
We looked at hundreds of actors to kind of narrow it down. So these group that made it through that process, very special group of people, really wanted it bad. Kind of knew what they were in for, but maybe not completely. I think now come out of this film with the experience of having made 10 films, getting to watch Tom do what he does. It's like no one else out there. I think they're all, on track for big careers after this.